What's up, guys? Welcome back to my channel. Now today we're going to be talking about the forwards heading into round 9, what targets we're looking at, and any rookies if there are any, which, spoiler alert, they aren't. Actually, there's one. Alright, so moving past Josh Dunkley, we have Jack Sable, who's come down in price, finally starting to show some signs of that he's human. Break even to 143. I think Aaron Hall going back has really affected his role, to be honest, which is good and bad at the same time. Because one, it means we have Aaron Hall as a great option. Two, Jack Sable, he's kind of dropping a little bit, but I'm pretty confident he can average at least 100 from here on out. Butters is someone I really want to bring in. Still, apparently he's not doing too well with his injury, so recovery's been hard for Butters, but definitely an ideal F6, hopefully. Dane Zorko, so this is a great talking point. I traded him in 2 weeks ago. I was very lucky. He's given me 105 and a 140. I think this is bottom dollar for Zorko. Break even of 60. Like bottom dollar from here on out, I'm saying. Yeah, he's break even 60, so definitely look to bring him in this week. I think he's the number one option to bring in. He's getting the mid-time. He loves junk disposals. Like, I did not realise how much he junks it up. That fourth quarter, if anyone was watching it, man, he was junking it up. So Zorko is definitely a great option for the rest of the season, I think. As a forward, there's really not many options. So Zorko, I think he's probably going to be potentially F1 from here on out. And that's really valuable for someone who's 511k. If you have to trade him in through the midfield, definitely do that just to get Zorko, because this is the week you need him, I think. That's the most popular trade is actually Dane Zorko. So there you go. Taylor Walker, we're not going to even speak about him. He's not worth bringing in. Jarman Impey. So if you don't have Impey, I still would pick him. I still think he's top 6, probably around that 6 mark like he is now. Walker will drop out. Dunkley's, you can't really count Dunkley or Butters. So Impey, if you take them out, third? So yeah, I think Walker drops out, Dusty goes in. So yeah, Impey's definitely a top 6 option. 96, he's got the role. If you don't have him, as I said, bring him in. What's his break even? 72. Yeah, so he'll probably hover around that price for a while unless he starts hitting some form. Dusty, now he's another great option. Personally with me, I'm waiting a week on him. I want to see form. I said it in the round 9 review. I want to see some form from him before I trade him in. Or maybe I said it in the midfielder review, I don't know. Anyway, I might have even had him at round 9. I've done that many trades since that review. I'll have to update the channel with it soon. But for now, Dusty, I think we just wait. If you want to go early on him, 68 break even, do it. You probably get him for the absolute bottom dollar, 425. I'm happy to pay an extra 25k and see that he's in form and he's healthy, because I know how much of a burn man he can be in the regular season. So personally, I'm waiting a week on Dusty. Tom McDonald, I don't like key forwards. He played Carlton, who are semi-decent. He plays Adelaide, which he probably go off. He'd probably ton up then. But then he plays the Dogs and the Lions, and I don't see him tunning. Unfortunately, I don't see him tunning against them. Shai Bolton, possibly when you bring him back, possibly. Now that Dusty's back, probably takes most of his mid-time. Cochin's not far off, I don't think. And I think Prestia will be coming back soon as well. I'm not exactly sure on those 2 injuries, but I don't like the Bolton pick on the fact that he's probably going to get pushed out of the midfield once the Guns come back. Nick Hind, he is my second best option this week, I believe. If you want a bit more value and you can't afford Zorko, this is definitely the guy to get. He's improving every single week. Zorko's role is different to Hind's. Hind's a half back, but man, he's so fast. Obviously that doesn't translate to SuperCoach scoring, but he's really actually quite exciting to watch. So if you can somehow match a player's SuperCoach ability with entertainment value, it's actually quite good for when you watch us in the games and you're cheering him on. So yeah, it's 102, 76, 89, 95, 127. I think he's, and then a 93, 85, 98. So I think he's a lock to average 90. So probably a great F6 option. I think he'll be my F6. So I'm looking to bring Dusty next week, and then Hind will probably be my last forward. I want to wait for Dangerfield, but I don't want to wait as long as what he's going to be out for. So I think Hind's a great option. Toby Green, obviously injured. Hawkins, similar boat to McDonald. So he's got Gold Coast, Collingwood. They're 2 big games. He should go big against them. And then he plays Port. then the Dogs and the Lions. See, that's the thing. These teams are tough that he's got coming up as well. I would stay away from Hawkins personally. I can see why people would bring him in, but maybe like later in the year. Jack Darling, yeah, he was on minus like 10, like halfway through the second quarter, and he finished. He was on like 80 at halftime. He like 5 goals in a row or something. So that was that's probably the biggest like turnaround in a single game ever. I couldn't believe my eyes when I saw that. I wasn't watching the game, so it was like, what the hell? 102, 80, 123, 86. He's had a decent, five last games, but man, I couldn't trust him. What's his 5 on average? 104. I just don't trust Jack Darling, unfortunately. Bailey Dale's another one. I think he's taken kick-ins. I think he's lost a few, actually, to Caleb Daniel of recent. So, probably in a similar boat to Hines, who averages the 91. I personally prefer Hind. I think Hind's a better option. But I could see why people are looking at Bailey Dale. There's just so many Bulldogs players, man. The scoring, they can't all score well, can they? I mean, they're defying the odds at this point with Bont, McRae, Dunkley. Hogan, he had to kick I think he kicked a fair few goals. I could be wrong. But, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Hogan. These key forwards, yeah. Reid, we're not going to talk about. Mackay, no. Same thing. Brandon Archie, no. Sidebottom, he's a really awkward one, Sidebottom, because, he has these quarters where he just dominates, and then he goes missing. So, for me, I just don't like 119, 85, 92, 94, 93. So, he's probably going to average around the 90 to 95 mark, which is definitely good for a forward. I mean, and he's got that awkward bye, so that's probably the reason to really defer away from him and pick a Zorko or a Hind. Actually, I don't even know if Hind has the early bye or the late bye, I'm not sure, but I know Zorko doesn't have that last bye. He's got the middle bye. Norton, Cameron. Okay, so Aaron Hall, this is our last talking point. Ron Marshall's injured, so I won't talk about him. Dangerfield injured, won't talk about him. So Aaron Hall is the big talking point of this week. He was the big talking point of last week, and I jumped on him. And a lot of people said it was foolish. I see why, but at this point he looks really good. I knew his role was perfect. 112. I think this is the numbers with Hall. So people get scared away from the 6, but he got injured that game. And I'm pretty sure he must have got injured in this 37 as well. So you take those out. He's got 81, 133, 106, 113, 112. He's genuine premium numbers. And it's just those injury games that have kept his price and average down. So I think Aaron Hall is almost a must-have. Obviously, his body and form is inconsistent as hell, but the role he has this season, I think, is really perfect. As I said before, the ball's always down there in the back line against at North, and hopefully he plays Essendon, St Kilda, GWS, so not some hard teams that are going to tag. Those teams won't tag the half-backer, I don't think. Maybe the Giants, but no, I'd be surprised if they tagged Hall. Any of those teams, I don't think any team will tag Hall. So I think bring him in, but there's obviously that injury risk, and he is known to burn. So looking at our top 3 picks, we have Zorko at number 1. Number 2 will be Nick Hind, and number 3 Aaron Hall. Actually, I'll put Hall at 2. Hall at number 2, Hind at number 3. And I think that's probably the best. Yeah, that's the top 3 trade-ins. And the other guy we're going to talk about is Caleb Poulter. I believe it's Poulter. It could be Poulter. Okay, we'll talk about Cody Wayman as well. So he's played the one game, scored 75. He kicked 3 goals or something. He's not going to do that every week. Please don't trade him in. I know a lot of people are jumping on him. Please do not. So Poulter's got the role. He didn't score well in the first 3 quarters. I'm pretty sure he was on something like 20-something at 3 quarter time, which is very, very misleading. But he finished on 66 somehow, which is good. Maybe that was the day the scores were just all over the shop on Fan Footy. Or not Fan Footy, Footy Info. I don't know. He's got a break even of minus 43. So if you do trade him in, I don't think it's a bad option. Because there's no forwards at all. I'm pretty happy with a Warner to Poulter downgrade and save 200k or 150k. I'd be pretty happy with that if I didn't have him. So if you don't have Poulter, definitely don't shy away from bringing him in just because he's gone up that first price rise, because I think he's got plenty more money to make, and he's got a good role. Like, I know he didn't touch it a lot, but he's got a good... Well, he actually did have a fair bit of it, but he didn't score that well. He should average 66. I think he can genuinely average 60 to 70. And if he can do that, he can probably get up to, 250k, 300k? Hopefully 300k. And that would be huge. So that's really all the forward options this week. I don't... Actually, we're going to talk about one more, and that's Isaac Keaney. So we'll search him because it's going to be awkward to find. I personally don't think Heaney's worth it. I think he had something like 4 goals. I could be wrong. I know he's cheap. I know he's 342, but he's a known burn man, and he doesn't have the role that Aaron Hall had. We know he's the most frustrating player to watch because he could be such a gun in the midfield. He's not going to get that mid time. I just don't think. Like, I know Buddy's back, but if he doesn't kick those 4 goals, whatever he kicked, he probably loses, 50 points off that score? 40 points? Let's say 40 points. And it gives him a 70. So, I'm not a big fan of the Heaney pick. I know he had a good first 2 games, but nah, not for me. If you've traded him in, I see why. He's obviously very cheap, but I personally would stay away from him. Break even of 75, I don't even think he'll get that this week. So, could always wait another week. If he smashes it, then we'll reconsider, but I have to see his role. I need to see some high CBA numbers for Heaney before I bring him in. That's it. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Like I said, this is a new channel, so don't be afraid to subscribe. We do need some subscribers at the moment. We're only on like 40 or something, or 50, I'm not sure. So hopefully we get 100 subscribers pretty soon. And yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.